Now here's Newsy saying once again. What did he say? Of course, Newsy isn't it? Hang on. Let's have a look. The Greens and a few ex-Libs and Nationals are the reason Labor and power, Seppi. Who cares what they have to make deals with? Those people get things done. Well, apparently by the polls they're not. That's the reason Liberals are not in Seppi. They could not have run a government the way it's set up at the moment. Well, apparently you're in a minority government. You're making deals and crap all over the place, Newsy. They can't make deals because they have big head egos and born to rule style could not fit in with the Greens and the Independents, who they lied to and broke promises when they were last in power. Well, Newsy, I don't believe we've ever made promises to the Greens. They're watermelons to us. Green on the outside, red in the guts. We don't deal with the enemy that well. And as for the Independents, there's no ex-Liberals there, News. I don't know where you got that idea from. Catter was never a Liberal. Oakeshott and Windsor were never Liberals. I don't know where you got that. And Brandon and Wilkie were never Liberals. And that fellow over in Western Australia took one look and said, no, we're not in this. No. And he's decided to cut straight out. And let's see. Let's examine Catter. He's a hardline sort of conservative up in northern Queensland. Wilkie, he's a green, mate. He's as useful as tits on a bowl. And as for Brand, he's not much better. Oh, I'm such a dobber. I'll go and tell everybody. Oh, I'm the man to let everybody know. Oh, such a bloody pansy. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, let's have a look at Oakeshott. Oakeshott, crazy. Fantastic net. Turned around and shat upon his entire constituency. He's got negative 13 popularity as far as that goes. This is what you've got, Newsy. You've got Windsor. Not much better. Tony Windsor goes around, running around saying, oh, I've been threatened. Oh, I've been absolutely threatened. I've received a nasty call on my telephone and I've been threatened. And this is what you form government with? This is what you've got? You've only what? Absolutely what? 71 seats? And you had to form a coalition, a rainbow coalition with Greens, Independents. So we can form government. Yeah, you certainly have formed government, a minority government, Nosy. And still they can't get it right. And still the Australian people are telling you to stick your carbon pricing where it most fits. And still you can't get it. This is how you form government. You don't tell the Australian people, we're going to give you carbon pricing whether you like it or not. How about listening to the Australian people, Newsy? Is that so hard? Is it something you can't seem to understand? You may have formed government and a rainbow coalition, but if you don't listen to the Australian people, you won't get in ever again. You'll have no problem with forming a dog catchers society. And this is the problem with Labor and Labor today. Your elitist crap. Your elitist idealism. You think you can tell us, the people, Newsy, what's good for us. Well, we're telling you, and the public's telling you, the consumer's telling you, the taxpayer is telling you. No, Newsy. No, start listening. But obviously, you Labor elitists think you know everything. You've got a minority government. And we're picking the eyeballs out of you. But you're doing it all yourself, Newsy. Your Labor stooges are doing it all themselves. Gillard goes over to Washington DC, right? Says to Barack Obama, we're going to make a carbon tax and pricing down here. Australian people and the business community of Australia went, are you? Really? Good on you. Well done. No, you're not. And what else? Oh, yeah, International Women's Day. We're going to make it a law. We want to make it a law, I should say, that we're going to employ 30% of women in the workforce in the high executive office. Law, huh? Why do you socialists always try to make laws and power play with business and so forth? Why is that, Newsy? What's the reasoning behind that? You know, for example, if a woman gets into a high executive office like that because of some stupid law that you leftists bring out, you know how much relevance she's going to have in that company? None whatsoever. But you think, oh, well, we got to give women more power and more this. Well, as far as we see, and there's many great female executives in business now, and they got there on their own steam. But what we've seen on the political side, you've got Gillard, totally hopeless. You've got Keneally down in New South Wales, totally hopeless. You've got Bligh in Queensland, and she's totally bloody hopeless. Right, and previous to that, who's that? Joan Kerner in Victoria. Total wank, mate. Really? Is this the best you can give us? This is the best examples you can give us that women in executive positions or political positions? You got Penny Wong, oh, for God's sake. You got all these female Labor politicians that, oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, God. And easy, let's argue about the ETS. You couldn't get that passed twice in the Senate. You're not going to get this one in the carbon pricing. You backdoored on it. Gillard backdoored on it. She said, absolutely, there will be no carbon pricing in Australia by my government if I am elected to government. Within a week, she formed the Rainbow Coalition with the Greens, a couple of buffhead bloody buffhead independents. Of course, next thing we know, here we have carbon pricing. You talk about backflipping, Newsy. That's not backflipping. That's a lie to the Australian people. That is an absolute lie. And you have yet to tell me how carbon pricing is going to save the environment without taxing the eyeballs out of the Australian consumer, voter and taxpayer. You've not been able to do it. You haven't been able to say anything about it because you know it will be an impost on the Australian taxpayer and consumer and buyer and everything else like that. The Australian people know this. They see it. They add it up for themselves, Newsy, but you sit there with your thumb up your bum and deny the whole lot. Okay, fine. You do that. You do that, Newsy. You can sit there in your smug little provincialism somewhere in Australia and say, oh, we know what's good for the Australian taxpayer. In this case, you don't, because you ain't listening. So, bye, son.